what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of THKD TV. This is a special episode, not only because my wife is with me, not only because it's New Year's Eve, but we are going to count down, each of us, our top 5 albums of the decade. Anyway, my first one is Sons of Otis, Seismic. This came out in 2012, and actually this band flew under the radar for me. It was Miss Krista here that discovered them, I think on Pandora or something.
Yes.
And
yes,
she ordered me the CD from Amazon, and I just fell in love with it. You know, the past decade's been pretty good to us for like stoner doom and sludge stuff. You know, obviously Electric Wizard, Sleep came back. You had Green Druid. You had UFO Mammoth releasing some really good stuff. Grabbed all the headlines, but you know, this album in particular was just super exemplary of that stoner doom style. So I had to have this one on my list. Yeah, and that's Sons of Otis, Seismic. This was out on Small Stone Records, 2012.
My first pick, I don't actually have the CD. This is a movie called Jackie. It was about Jackie Kennedy and what she went through after her husband was shot and she witnessed it. But what always makes a movie is the music. And I listen to a lot of film scores. And Josh gets very bored by it. But
Not all.
especially when I'm at work, you know, I can't always play Megadeth at work. So I'll listen to something like this and it's very soothing. The name of the composer is I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right, Micah Levi. This composer, this was her second major film score, and it was nominated for Best Original Film Score at the Academy Awards. So I definitely recommend listening to it. Between this one and Midsummer, if any of you have watched that, the score for that is equally creepy to listen to while you're at work and kind of scare the shit out of your coworkers. So that's what I have for my first one. And this came out in 2016, obviously when the movie came out.
Good pick.
Yep.
Interesting choice. All right, next one for me is also a little under the radar. This is a band from Brazil called Frito, and I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but it means black goat in Portuguese. This came out in, I believe, this was a 2012, I think. Oh, I lied. This was a 2015 release, and the thing I like about this one is that it's concise. Like, it's really savage sounding, but it's super streamlined. One of my biggest gripes of the past decade is bands don't seem to have the ability to self-edit anymore, and I think that's because vinyl records came out, bands were constrained by how much music can fit on a vinyl record. When CDs came out, you got a little more space, but still bands were constrained by how much music they could cram onto a CD. Now with streaming, you can make your song fucking 12 hours long. And nobody wants to hear it. Hey, I like Doom, but I still don't think every song needs to be fucking 12 hours long, you know? Like, bands need to learn how to self-edit. Like, if you only have 2 minutes worth of ideas, then that song should only be 2 fucking minutes long, alright? Not 12 minutes of the same 2 minutes worth of ideas over and over again. That's what I like about this. This album is like, I think, 29 minutes long, maybe, something like that. And, you know, all these songs are like 3 minutes, 30 seconds or under. It's short, it's fast, it's fucking savage. If you like black metal, there's no reason why you won't like this. So definitely check these guys out if you have not.
All right. Good job. Team Han.
That's right. Woo!
Woo! All right. This one, let's see. Maybe you can see it. Possibly.
Maybe it's a dark-ass cover.
It's a dark-ass motherfucking cover. This came out in 2010. Josh was sent this as a promo when he used to receive promos.
I still do now. They're just all digital. And
exactly.
It's not as fun. It's not like Christmas.
He received this from Profound Lore. And there's not a whole lot I know about the gentleman who did this. His name was Eric Wonder. And he was of Cobalt, a black metal band. And this is not black metal. This is a far cry from black metal. How I thought of it, and part of it was because I was homesick living in shithole Iowa. Um, but this music sounded like the era of the gold rush and that kind of thing, where like you would picture these people sitting around a fire singing these songs, and it's hard to describe, but I will say I definitely recommend giving it a try if you want something different, if you don't want to make your ears bleed constantly with metal. I definitely say give this one a try. The song on here that I liked the most is The Death of Jimmy Sturgis, which is just, it's
my favorite too.
Yeah, it's a good one. So anyway, give that a shot. I think it's one of my favorite things, and it's very surprising to get a promo that's good. I hate saying that, sorry, out there. But when I worked for Necropolis, we used them as coasters. Just saying. Anyway, that's mine.
That's a good pick, and like I think people who are into like Nick Cave and shit like that would probably like that as well.
Yeah.
Also, like some of the more recent Swan stuff probably too might be into that album. So if you haven't heard Man's Gin for some reason, definitely, I support this one as well. Put it that way.
Oh, I guess I should say, yeah, it's Man's Gin. It's called Smiling Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That's the name of the album. Guess not.
Oh, well, now you know.
Now you know,
Dogs,
and knowing's
Man's
half
Gin.
the battle.
It's like some good shit right there.
Yep. Okay.
All right. My next pick is a band I'm sure everybody's heard. Well, if you're a metal fan, you've heard of them, put it that way. This is Dodheim's Guard. The album is called Umbra Omega. So, obviously, Dodheim's Guard has been around for a long time, part of that Norwegian second wave black metal scene. But one thing that's different about them that I can't say for all the other Norwegian bands, some of them yes, some no. Every album of theirs sounds different. They evolve from album to album. It's not just they're changing their sound to change it. You can trace it from the very beginning. You know, their first album, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce the title of.
Oh, try it. Come on,
no,
it'll be fun.
God no. But anyway, their first album, you know, is very similar to like Dark Throne, stuff like that. But then you come up to this one, and it's just totally some next level shit happening here. These guys do have long songs, but they actually have enough interesting ideas to fill up those long songs. You know, there's black metal happening on this. There's like some avant-garde jazz type stuff going on.
Different time signatures.
There's like some Pink Floyd kind of spacey sounds happening on here. This is an album that really takes you on a journey, and it flows together really well. Like that's part of the beauty of this album is that these guys were talented enough songwriters to weave all those things together very seamlessly, and it just totally like you just melt into your couch and listen to this and go on a fucking trip. So again, this is Dodheim's Guard, a Umbra Omega, came out in 2015. This was on Peaceville Records for those that care about such things.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. All right. My next one is a small obsession of mine. It's a little dusty. This is Queens of the Stone Age. This album is called like Clockwork. It was released in 2013. Joshua Homme, who I also have quite the crush for.
He is a handsome man, like I can't deny that.
Well, yeah. And he's a Josh.
Yeah.
You never know what name I'm calling out. Okay. So anyway, so Joshua Homme had to have surgery, and if I'm correct, I think it was knee surgery. It's probably because he's a tall fucker. And during that surgery, he almost died. So this album is based off of that experience that he had. It scared him quite a bit, apparently, according to this album. And also, his closest friends, abandoned him during that time. They didn't want to support him or encourage him to write. If they did, it was only to get him to go back on stage to make money. It wasn't because that's what he wanted to do. So this song that's on here that is my favorite is If I Had a Tail, because it's rather Bowie-esque. That's what it always reminded me of, was David Bowie when I listened to it. I think just the rhythm of it was what did it.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, his songwriting is definitely, that's another band you can really trace how much more sophisticated his songwriting has become since the beginning of Queens of the Stone Age.
It did, well, yeah. And what's the other group that he was in?
Caius.
Yeah, and Caius. Caius was a lot more simplistic, and it got more complicated, more bluesy.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, I listened to this album nonstop when it came out. It was always in my CD player in my car, and just kept going, and going, and going.
Like a giant cable knit sweater.
Shut up. Anyway, so, like my mouth. Anyway, I recommend it if you haven't listened to it yet. Check it out.
So, my first few that I picked, I think were pretty under the radar. Yeah. Now we're getting into the crowd pleasers at this point. So my fourth pick is Voivod with The Wake. This album came out in 2018 on Century Media. And, you know, interesting thing about Voivod is, you know, they've been around for so long. You know, this to me is a late career masterpiece. Like, this is one of the best Voivod albums in my opinion. And, you know, most bands that have been around as long as they do you don't expect them to release their best work that late in their career. It's like, oh, you buy every album when it comes out and you're like, yeah, it's good, but you still like the old stuff better kind of thing. This, I think, can go toe-to-toe with any of their older stuff, Killing Technology, Dimension Hatros, any of the classics. This album can go toe-to-toe with it. It's a late career masterpiece, which, you know, was not really expected. You know, even though the album before this one was very good, I don't think anybody expected this magnitude of an album. This one is fucking awesome. So that, again, that's Voivod with The Wake.
Good times.
Yeah.
Great oldies.
Yeah, exactly. They are great oldies.
Yeah. Alright. Next up is Faith No More, Sol Invictus. It came out in 2015. Anyway, so Faith No More. I got into them when I think that was junior high school, when the song Epic was released on MTV.
Yeah,
so
I think we would have been in like sixth grade,
yeah.
somewhere in there, 7th grade.
So, and I always thought Mike Patton was really hot in that. So, anyway, fast forward, I got the CD eventually, and I fell in love with that. So, I had listened to other albums of theirs between that time. So, when this came out, I was pretty excited because I needed something new to listen to, and because I tend to listen to the same thing over and over again, hence the Queens of the Stone Age CD. But this one in particular, as you know, with Mike Patton style, with pretty much any group he's in, it's all over the place. So, on here, there's 2 favorite songs. First one is Matador, and that's the second to the last song, and it's just a very dark, it's just a creepy sounding song. So that's why I like creepy sounding songs, and that fit the bill. But Josh and my favorite on this is Motherfucker. So
it's just so fun to sing along to.
It is. Yeah. And it's so nicely sung. Yeah. On top of that, you never thought you'd hear Motherfucker sound so great in an album.
That's true.
It was good stuff. So, anyway, that is my 4th pick.
Good one. That's a good pick. Mike Patton's kind of a mad genius, you know.
He's crazy.
I mean, he can do anything. That EP he did with Dillinger Escape Plan, so that's some next level shit.
Well, and the fact that I just got into Tomahawk. So.
Whole world of Mike Patton out there.
He's really
like
is.
A million different things.
He's got a receding hairline now.
Well, he does, but you know what? Can't stop time.
Yeah.
Speaking of not being able to stop time, my 5th choice is Judas Priest, Firepower. This also came out in 2018. Excuse me. And, you know, Judas Priest, their albums, since getting back together with Rob Halford, have been, in my opinion, hit and miss. But this one is probably their best one since Painkiller, in my opinion. Like, they sound rejuvenated here. You know, this is another late career album. I don't know if it's a masterpiece. There's some songs that I probably would cut, truth be told. But it's really, really a lot better than it has any right to be, in my opinion, just because of the fact that, like I said, their albums have been kind of hit and miss since they got back together with Halford. it's nice to hear this style of metal still being done well and not sound like, I don't know, I guess kitschy maybe is the word. Like a lot of these younger bands that try to sound like Judas Priest, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it just doesn't sound very authentic to me, I guess is the best way to put it. So it's nice to hear this style of metal still being done in an authentic way. It blows anything Iron Maiden has released in this decade. Just so we all know, Judas Priest is a lot better than Iron Maiden. This shouldn't even be a debate. Anyway, Judas Priest, Firepower. If you haven't heard this, like if you're like, oh, it's going to be the same old tired Judas Priest, you need to think again and check this out because they sound hungry again on this, and that's what I like about it. They just sound totally refreshed and rejuvenated, and hopefully they just keep going until they all disintegrate and turn into dust, because if it's going to be this good, then I'm all for it.
I think the Rolling Stones are going to outlive them.
The Rolling Stones will outlive everybody. It'll just be the Rolling Stones and cockroaches, and that's all that's going to be left when we have the apocalypse or whatever.
All right, my last. This was we're just going to group it all into one because Ghost. Let's just put Ghost out there. Fucking amazing. A lot of people really love them or they really hate them because they started off a little more metally and they've become a little more radio-friendly rock pop over these albums. But as far as out of all the Ghost albums, my favorite is not this one. I don't know why Josh picked this out of his CD list.
Oh, I thought you said Meliora for some reason.
No, it's my second favorite.
Oh.
But I'm going to attempt to pronounce it. I still fuck it up every time. Infesticium. I'm pretty sure I got it. Infesticium.
Well, close enough.
Sure, whatever. That particular album was... Well, it was kind of funny because it had like a polka beat to it. Yeah, it was very waltzy and which I thought was interesting. But it was the album where their sound started to change. I mean, they only had one before that, but it was a drastic change. And it was more put together, more symphonic, it just kind of filled a room after that. The other one, the first album was very, it was to the point. It was a rock album.
Yeah, for sure.
It was definitely along the metal fan line there. So anyway, off that album, my favorite song is Year Zero. The other part of Ghost that I really like, I have a big thing about stage presence. They go with the full costumes for a long time. They did not give up who they were. They still, the Nameless Ghouls, the backup band, still nobody really knows who they are except for the guys that sued Tobias Forge, who is Papa. But I think that mystery behind it, I think that was a huge draw for me. I think just like Kiss for a lot of people. Because they have that whole package in there and because they can have so much different sounds within their songs, it's just, I don't know, I find it just fascinating to listen to. So, any other thoughts on anything?
No, yeah, you pretty much covered Ghost as far as I'm concerned. I think that pretty much wraps it up. So guys, thank you for listening to this, us rambling about some of our favorite albums of the past decade. If you have favorites you want to tell us about, please do that in the comments or hit up THKD on fucking Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anywhere that THKD products are sold. All right, well, Happy New Year, THKD fans, and I will see you next year. Dad joke. Peace.